Hello and welcome back to the Legal Gym podcast. In the last episode, I shared the first half of the 20 biggest lessons I've learned in 20 years of running my own law firm and business, everything from mindset to money to building strong client and customer relationships. Today, we're going to finish this list up with the lessons that can make or break your growth of your business. And those are my marketing lessons, business operations, and then we'll wrap it up with one final tip for you today. So whether you're just getting started or you've been in business for quite a while, these are the systems and strategies that are going to help you to stay in the game for the long run. So the next category, just going back, last time we started off with mindset and personal growth. We had a few tips there. We talked about money and finance. We talked about clients and relationships. And we provided the first 11 tips on that last episode. So I'll include a link down in the show notes page to access that other podcast if you have not heard that one. But today we're going to move forward and we're going to talk about marketing and growth. We're going to talk about business operations, and then we're going to finish up with some final thoughts on how I think you should tackle your new business enterprise. So let's start off with marketing and growth. Now, if you don't already know this, marketing, which is basically how you get new clients, is going to be the lifeblood of any successful business. If you aren't marketing, you aren't growing your business. Whenever I talk to people who are struggling to make sales, I ask them what they've done to market their business lately. And frequently the answer is, honestly, nothing. So here are a few lessons I've learned over the years that you as a new business owner should pay very close attention to when it comes to marketing. And the first lesson here is number 12 on my tip sheet is to never stop marketing. You need to do something to market your business every single day. My recommendation is that you pick one platform on social media, be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, making a podcast episode, something like that, and show up consistently. Now, the key is consistency. It's not perfection. And this is where a lot of people get derailed. They think that everything they put out there needs to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect. You just need to show up. This is one lesson that, again, I wish I had handled more consistently over the past few years. I'll give you an example. I posted my first YouTube video back in 2016, and I posted regularly for the first few months, and then I just stopped. I don't remember why I stopped, but I stopped. And not only did I stop, but I also stopped paying attention to the channel, which had started to grow based on my original videos. A few years later, I started noticing comments and then looked at my channel and noticed that it had almost 10,000 subscribers. So this was a shock to me, obviously. That took about 2 years. And I always wonder what would have happened if I had not stopped publishing when I had just 30 or 50 subscribers and my channel was growing very slow. What could have been? So the big picture lesson here is that the most effective marketing is going to be consistent marketing. It is a lot of work and it's going to take you a lot of time, but slow and steady is a great way to build your business. And the more you post, it's almost like when you're contributing money to a retirement account, which we talked about last week. If you contribute a little bit over time, as you move forward and over the years, that money that you contribute is going to start to compound. If you stop contributing, the compounding is going to stop and your growth may actually just peter out and die. But if you continue to contribute, then the platform, whatever platform you decide to post on, is going to continue to grow. Your subscribers are going to grow. Your revenue is going to grow. Your clients are going to grow. Good things are going to happen, basically. So the main takeaway here is that you need to pick a channel. You need to be consistent. And I would focus on producing content that's going to resonate not only with your target market or your target audience, but you also need to create content that's in line with what you like to do. So if you like to make videos, then you should be on YouTube. If you like to talk, podcasts are a great way to do that. And they're also a great way to meet other people in your niche. If you like to write, then blogging is going to be a great way to do it, or posting articles on LinkedIn or Substack. But you need to do that in a way that's going to meet your target customers, target clients where they're at. And that's the best way to grow your new venture organically over time without spending a lot of money on ads, is just to be consistent and post content that talks about you, talks about your business, talks about the value you provide, talks about how to do certain things in your business. That's what you need to do. The next tip along with this is tip number 13, and that's to build and nurture your email list. So as you start posting to social media or on your website or on YouTube or wherever, you want to make sure that you're capturing people's email address, because social media platforms can come and go, but your email list belongs to you. It's one of the best assets that you can build as a business owner. And as you're publishing your content on a regular, consistent basis, you should be giving people an opportunity to hop on your email list and learn more from you. People have become more reluctant to hand over their email address in recent years, but if they're a hot lead and they need or want what you have to offer, then they're going to gladly hop on your email list in exchange for receiving some sort of value from you. But the key here is to determine what that value may be. There's going to be a learning curve involved. You're not always going to know what to do when you first start, but you can test out various ideas such as checklists, white papers, videos, or even webinars that provide information about the platform provide information about the problem that you're solving for your prospective customer or client. Another thing that I do is we ask people to schedule a call with us, but they have to give us that email before we give them the link to schedule the call. That works quite well. And once you get people onto your email list, then you can continue to send them information and tools that will bring value to their lives. Ideally, you don't want to spam them. And they're more likely to remember you if they see your emails on a regular basis, even if they're not opening them. So is building and nurturing an email list hard? Yeah, it is. But when you get to that point where you can send an email and generate immediate revenue, you're going to be glad you did it. So building and nurturing your email list, next tip on my list, which leads to tip number 14 is to be a content creator, not just a consumer. Creating content builds authority, visibility, and trust. Consuming content only builds someone else's business. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're starting their business. They get focused on consuming content on social media as opposed to producing content on social media. So if you're on social media, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, it should be as a creator, not a consumer. Remember that. Just go out there and be the one that's producing the content that other people are reading. Tip number 15 is to not chase shiny objects. We talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about watching your expenses like a hawk. So you need to stick with what works. You want to go an inch wide and a mile deep rather than spreading yourself way too thin. I see way too many business owners and entrepreneurs think that it's a good idea to try and build multiple different businesses at one time. And they ask me all the time, can I put all these under one LLC, all these business ideas? It's hard enough to build one business, but if you focus on one enterprise until it's working without you and then move towards the next project, that's the better way to do it. Ideally, you're going to be able to sell your first business and then can start a second. But if you're trying to build multiple businesses at one time, you're playing a fool's game. Podcaster John Lee Dumas used to say that you need to focus. You need to follow one course until success. And I want you to remember this lesson, and you're going to find success faster than if you're trying to multitask on multiple businesses. Don't try and build multiple businesses at the same time. Focus on one thing, one product, one business, one service offering, and build that up. And once you have it in a place where it's running on its own, then you can start something else. So number 16 is going to be to automate whenever possible. This is something that I've really embraced in my business, in my law firm, and it's something that's really made a lot of difference for us because I know for a fact that we can do the work of a 4 or 5 person firm with just 2 people because of the automations we've set up in our business. So if you repeat a task more than a few times, you need to find a way to systematize or automate that task. My absolute favorite software program is Zapier, which can help you automate certain repeatable tasks in your business. I love it so much that I will not use a SaaS product. Now, if you don't know what a SaaS product is, it's software as a service. I will not use a SaaS product that does not integrate with Zapier. It's that important to my business and the way we work. So those are the tips for marketing and growth. Number 1, never stop marketing. Build and nurture your email list. Be a content creator, not just a consumer. Don't chase shiny objects, and automate whenever possible. The next main category that I want to talk about, and this is the last major category, is business operations. If you build an amazing business, it's going to support you for years to come, but you can't do it alone. As you develop a growth plan for your business, you should also focus on finding great people to help you reach your goals. I have found that the best use of my time over the years has been to spend dedicated time each week either working on my business or marketing my business, preferably a little bit of both. And here are a few tips that have made a huge impact on my bottom line and have contributed tremendously to my business growth over the years. So number 17 is to keep your business and personal finances separate. Many people that are just getting started in business will use their business account as their personal checking account or vice versa. This is a huge mistake. Not only is it going to make your taxes impossible to prepare because you're not going to be able to see what a business expense is and what a personal expense is, but it could also lead to what's called piercing the corporate veil. Essentially, a potential creditor could use this commingling of your personal and business finances as evidence to show that you and your business are one legal entity, thus opening up all your personal assets to garnishment or seizure if you get sued or audited. So, very important, keep your business and personal finances separate. Number 18 is that you should be striving to build a business that runs without you. Many new entrepreneurs, especially service professionals, and I alluded to this at the beginning of the first podcast last week, many entrepreneurs will leave their corporate job to start a business doing the same thing they were previously doing for a paycheck. But now, instead of receiving a paycheck, they're forced to work 2 to 3 times as hard for about half the pay. This is something that I wish more people knew when they started their own business. When you own a business, you are responsible for not only delivering your product or service, but you're also responsible for marketing, accounting, hiring and firing employees, and creating a vision for your business. Needless to say, it is a lot of work, and if your business can't survive without you in the office every day, you don't really own a business, you own a job. Alternatively, you should start the process of hiring staff and/or creating automation systems or SOPs to deliver your products or services on day one of your new venture. This involves working on your business as opposed to working in your business. And the sooner you can replace yourself with someone who can do your job for you, the sooner you're going to start to enjoy true freedom in your life. Number 19 is to use technology wisely. In this world that we live in where AI is dominating the news headlines, it is just so easy to invest in a lot of fancy software that you believe is going to do your job for you. And a lot of people try to sell this software as something that is their golden ticket and is just going to allow you to build an amazing income stream without really doing anything. You can use software to create and post things to social media. You can create software to create videos and podcasts. I could have had AI literally read this entire podcast for me if I wanted to. You can even have AI respond to emails on your behalf. Now, I recommend being judicious in your use of AI or any type of automation tool that replaces the human interaction. It's going to come across as unauthentic and disingenuous. And if you don't think people are going to notice, I want you to think again. I routinely will skip articles on LinkedIn where I can tell they were written by a bot. You can lose a lot of credibility and goodwill with your audience if you do this. So the lesson here is that you should use software to make your business more streamlined, but don't use it to replace human interactions. Software can save a lot of time and money for you, but it can't replace human judgment or personal connection. Use it as a tool, not a crutch. All right, so that brings us to the 20th and final tip today, which is to enjoy the ride. Looking back, the past 20 years have been full of mistakes, risks, wins, and surprises. Looking ahead, I know the next 20 are going to bring just as much change and opportunity. Although, if I'm being honest, I hope I'm not still working 20 years from now. If I am, I've done something horribly wrong. So if you're building your own business, I hope these lessons save you a little time, save you a little money, and save you some stress. And remember, the goal isn't just to build a business. It's to build a life that you love around the business that you love running. So that's it. 20 lessons from 20 years in business. Looking back, it's been a wild ride full of challenges, risks, wins, and plenty of surprises. Looking ahead, I know the next chapter for me is going to bring just as much change and opportunity, and who knows where we're going to be in 5 or 10 years from now. If you found value in this series, please do me a favor, share it with another entrepreneur or business owner who could use some encouragement as they're trying to build their business. And if you haven't already, please leave a quick review wherever you listen to your podcast. It really helps other people to discover the show. Thank you again for joining me. And remember, the goal isn't just to build a business, it's to build a life you love around that business. Thanks so much, folks. We will see you in the next podcast.